So yeah, we are definitely just in time here, folks. Scoots versus Lone Wolf, and they have pressed F3. Really, we didn't get any time to, talk about the maps or the players, but hey, we are live, and that's what matters, as it is currently 8:09, and it's always nice to get the first frag happening within the first 20 seconds of the match. This, of course, is DM6, where the infamous, I would say, bridge to rail maneuver is sort of usually a key to success here. We're already seeing Lone Wolf go after Scoots with a vengeance, picking up 2 frags now, as he is barrel-assing around the map. And I don't know, Scoots really, I don't know if he can hold this position. He doesn't really have the stack for it. He is trying to wait for red armor, but instead he ducks and runs. Lone Wolf should be able to do damage on this mega grab. Nice anticipation of the maneuver up the jump pad. Lone Wolf does damage after the fact, and it shaved off about half of that mega, although Scoots probably didn't have full health at the time of pickup. So far, pretty dominant control by Lone Wolf. And Scoots is just kind of getting his, hopefully just getting warmed up. So we're about a minute away in this match. And Lone Wolf now, honestly, with that mega steal, we can't really call it control just yet, but as DM6 is well known for, it's with its only 3 power-ups, red, yellow, and mega, the lockdown is always possible. That's a pretty decent rocket there by Lone Wolf, again shaving off the full 100 health that is awarded by picking up that mega health. So Lone Wolf has done well on every single pickup, and he hits an uncontested rail. There's a pair to give him frag number 3. But we are seeing a little bit more life from Scoots. So I do like that. Here's a little bit of anticipation. Nice tracking here by Lone Wolf. And he's even trying to set up a shot through the archway in case Scoots decided to go a little aggressive. But if we can go see, he's been very crippled by that rail shot, and he's gonna sort of a short hop it over the pillars. Not a lot of spring in his step. Actually, I want to go back and watch Scoots as he spawns here. I'm starting to notice that he doesn't really strafe jump much, and that's especially on DM6. Oh yeah, that's not good there. I think Lone Wolf at this point is probably gonna be pretty happy, because whenever you're facing out, nice combo. Whenever you're facing off against a opponent who does not strafe jump, you pretty much have every advantage you can imagine, because, oh man, because, well, you're just going to reach every single item faster. And, like I said, I intentionally picked these guys because they weren't like, there wasn't a difference of like 15 in the brackets in terms of the seeding, so I was hoping that we'd have a little bit closer matchup. I think clearly Lone Wolf outskills his opponent. Scoots, as a newer player, I think we can talk a little bit about his play. I think that would be kind of the key thing to do. So if he happens to watch this VOD, maybe he can maybe his play can be helped a little bit by these comments. First thing, of course, is movement. I honestly think that, unlike most games where, especially in the first-person shooter, aim tends to be the key thing, I think Quake Live, your movement is actually more important than your aim. Because if you're not able to move around the map freely, without bumping into things, and you're not able to get to the items on time, then you're just never going to have the arsenal that it takes in order to pull down your opponent, really, no matter how good your aim is. So yeah, definitely working on the strafe. Oh god, nice rail by Lone Wolf. Definitely working on the strafe jumping. 50% rail, by the way, for Lone Wolf. And that would have been a pretty sweet rocket shot had it not hit the floor in front of Lone Wolf. But movement will help you get to the items on time. And then I would say work on the aim. And I'd add into the movement thing here, learning how to move backwards. Because we're seeing that Scoots is literally scooting away from his opponent every single chance he gets, but he has to literally turn and run. Close to a frag there, Lone Wolf only having 1 point of health as he exits that fight, but survives it. Nice lead with the rocket. Actually, Scoots is able to jump over it, but it was a nice idea. But you can see how Scoots basically he's just turning and running. He can't fight and leave a room. So I would say it's really critical for Scoots to sit down and figure out, okay, let me learn these maps. Uh-oh, he's got to hit that. He just barely hit the health bubble, so he didn't crater there. Nice drop by Lone Wolf. But when you learn how to back out of a room, then you realize, oh jeez, that you can fight the entire time. Right now, Scoots is like literally losing half of his fighting time and half of his chances to do damage because he's turning away and running. So part of that movement is to learn how to run through the maps forwards and backwards. And when you can literally run through DM6, strafe jumping the entire time, going backwards, even across pillars, and doing a backwards bridge to rail, then you're in pretty good shape, because then it no longer matters which way you're facing. You're able to keep your damage dealing at full throttle, no matter if you're coming or going into a room. So, yeah, movement, definitely step one. Step two would be aim. I would say Scoots' aim is pretty scary here. He has yet to use a railgun, 22% LG, and it's like a 29% rocket, which isn't terrible, but it's not like he's shooting spam. See, so that's actually pretty close to an accurate accuracy of 29% rocket, and usually, even including spam, you're going to have at least 30% rocket. So that was a nice little prediction shot there from Scoots. Definitely hit head on there for Lone Wolf, but Mega will keep him in this game, no problem. So we are 6.5 minutes burned away in this game, and I think Lone Wolf is just he's the big kitty toying with the mouse he's having for breakfast, and 18 frags up. I think it's pretty obvious how this one has turned out. Talk a little bit about Lone Wolf's play. Using the railgun pretty solidly, which I really love to see. 56% rail. I think a lot of that has to do, of course, with the fact that his opponent doesn't really have dodging down. Now, I guess I should say that I would separate movement and dodging. Okay, I think that while it's really hard to learn Quake live movement or Quake 3 movement, depending on where you come from. Nice. Impressive. Dodging is something that comes later, because I would say it's really not until you truly understand the weapons and how every single one works that you can actually be good at dodging. And then the reason why I say that is because, like I say, if you want someone like Cooler, I think he probably does this the most noticeably, but he will literally change how he dodges in mid-fight if you switch weapons. And it seems really subtle, but it's really important to understand why and how he's doing that. Because, well, just think about it. You don't want to dodge against rockets the same way that you dodge against lightning gun. When you're dodging rockets, you essentially want to have an internal timer of the, essentially the reload time, the time it takes for the next rocket shot to come out. And you need to time your juke to hit just on or before, depending on the distance between you and your opponent. You need to time your juke. Nice. Lone Wolf trying to set a trap. Time your juke so that essentially you're throwing your opponent's aim off. Because a lot of people, they get into this habit where essentially they get into a pattern of dodging. So it's like, okay, I'm running around the map, running around the map, running around the map. Okay, now I see my opponent, and I'm going to start this dodging pattern. It's like this like nervous twitch of pressing keys, and it, I guess, seems like dodging, but it's just like obvious, and it's not really dodging. But that's actually how a lot of players, especially at this level of skill, dodge. It's basically they get into a fight and they think, oh, well, let me start strafing right and left and try to be kind of crafty that way. No, instead you actually want to be really purposeful with your dodging. You want to literally see, okay, what weapon does my opponent have out? Okay, how do I need to dodge against that? Well, if it's lightning gun, I probably don't want to back up much because, unless I'm right at the tip of the range, because like backing up is not really dodging against LG. It's going to just keep frying you. So, that's an obvious example, but we might have newer viewers and want to explain that. If you're facing it off against a rocket launcher, again, you want to be timing. Nice shafting work by Lone Wolf, very nice. Bringing his shaft up to 41%. His rail now is at 63, very nice.